Der aktuelle Weltmeister, auch ihn heißen wir noch einmal herzlich willkommen, MVG, Mighty Mike, Michael van Gerwen.
Three men left standing then in the Happy Bet European Darts Match Play. Mensur Suljovic in the final, where he will face either Michael van Gerwen, the world #1 and the world champion, and a man looking for a 16th European Tour title, or Michael Smith, who is just 2 wins away from a 5th European Tour crown of his own, and on course also for back-to-back European titles after his success in Gibraltar last month. These two players know each other inside out. Michael Smith may well take some comfort from the fact that of the 4 titles he's won, he's beaten van Gerwen in the final of those on 2 occasions. This, however, is a semi-final, but you just wonder, Paul Nicholson, how Michael van Gerwen will be feeling right now after that astonishing match against Peter Hudson. He was absolutely cruising through. Hudson inconvenienced him, and when it's all about energy preservation and staying out of the heat, you know, those 4 extra legs on stage, I'm just wondering if that might take its toll or might have an impact on Michael van Gerwen, because he knows he's in for a rough ride anyway.
Well, we're about to find out how it did affect him, but what I did like about the end of his quarter-final was that he took it with a smile.
43.
He understands that sometimes these things happen. It has happened to him before, and he's been on the wrong side of it. But he was able
108
to rescue the situation. Now, I get the feeling, and this is in no way, shape or form disrespectful to Peter Hudson, but Michael Smith is a different animal, scoring-wise particularly.
Yeah, and well, he's proved that already with an opening salvo of 180 after Michael van Gerwen's below par opening visit. Van Gerwen, though, looking to get himself back on track here. This is on the Van Gerwen throw. And Smith has already opened up a little bit of a cushion here.
A list of players who can genuinely stay with Michael van Gerwen when he's playing well. Gary Anderson can. Peter Wright definitely can. Phil Taylor.
92.
Raymond van Barneveld.
Michael, you've acquired 94.
I'd put Michael Smith in that little group.
Well, his finishing was exemplary, wasn't it? And it's exemplary again, as was the case in the quarter-final. 5 out of 5.
Game on.
For Michael Smith in that 6-2 win over Joe Cullen. He ended up 6 from 16, but the way he was finishing off early on in that match was
96.
astonishing, and it's a break of throw. I'm already beginning to draw parallels here with, as points go on the floor there for van Gerwen, with the final in Mulheim in 2015, when van Gerwen was just, I thought, brushed aside by Michael Smith in the final that day.
That's what he does sometimes. If Michael Smith's in the right mood...
Once he got the break and he was 4-2 up that day, I thought van Gerwen's going to struggle to get back into this. And it was very quick fire. There was some terrific finishing that evening as well. I remember watching it with Rod Harrington in the commentary box, and we were both really blown away by that, as indeed was van Gerwen. But he's got to back it up here.
The key to Michael's success over the last few weeks has been sheer confidence.
135.
And if he can maintain focus, he can do anything he wants. There's nothing on a dartboard he can't do.
28. Michael, you require 152.
And he can even post visits of 28 as well. So van Gerwen here with a opening to break back straight away.
128.
And he's going the right way about it as well. Smith may well have given up the ghost with this one as he strays into the treble 5 bed once more.
135. Michael, you require 24.
We'll both have to be in the wider weight club in this semi-final, by the way, Paul, as van Gerwen takes out double 12. Because
Michael van Gerwen to throw first.
Smith has this habit of producing finishes that you don't expect. He doesn't go for the obvious route sometimes.
I'm not going to brush over the fact you just said the wider weight club.
Go on.
Timmy Mallet, fantastic.
100.
That's a memory from my childhood.
Showing the age again. Well, I've got the stop clock going on this one. Even if this goes to 11 legs, this will be a very, very short-lived affair, I think.
Well, I had a little glance when the 94 checkout went in after the first leg. That was 1 minute and 8 seconds for a leg.
93.
That's quite quick.
Just worth clocking sometimes when these two are playing.
This is 21st century darts, ladies and gentlemen. It's fast, swift, brilliant. Give it all the superlatives you want.
You require 81.
But it's very watchable. Double 12.
Once again, double 12 for Van Gerwen. Now, Michael Van Gerwen, prior to this semi-final this weekend, had averaged over the course of his opening 3 matches 105.41. Now, that's what Michael Smith has to aim for here, roughly, because his overall average was just under 97. He did average a ton plus against
58.
Andy Hamilton in his 3rd round match. His finishing has been better than Van Gerwen's, though, over the course of the weekend so far.
Looking at previous wins that Michael Smith has under his belt, though, he understands the complexity of the situation he's in, and he also understands that you have to get better. You can't just stay where you are. You've got to get better. In one of those finals against Van Gerwen, he was absolutely off the charts when it comes to averages. So he can lift it to that level and get even better than that.
Well, the talk downstairs when Van Gerwen was 5-0 to the good against Hudson was of a potential high of averages on the European tour. I remember the final against Gary Anderson in Hildesheim 2 years ago when it was 117. In the end, that was not threatened, with Hudson fighting back.
Michael Smith's in danger of having to hit this one for 4 checkout. 2 treble 20s and double 12. Just ever so slightly over pitched. And I'm talking about maybe 1.5 millimeters, if that. 20 and bull will give him double 5.
82.
Oh, he pulled that one, and he knows it.
Michael, you require 44.
Very rarely do you see Michael Van Gerwen miss a double by that margin.
4 tops then for Michael Smith.
24.
Well,
Michael, you require 5.
That's a big letdown for Michael Smith. Double 2 for Van Gerwen. Awkward.
Games from the
Finds a way through.
Michael Van Gerwen.
Whether it's 170 or just 5 points,
first. Game on.
you can sense the importance when a player celebrates.
Yes, another breaker throw for Michael Van Gerwen. 2 breaks to 1, effectively. That's the difference between these two right now. Van Gerwen's average. Talk about consistency. It was 105 for the weekend. It was 105 up until a few moments ago when he had that succession of doubles.
Of course, Michael Smith is
83.
in quite a healthy camp right now that is growing with some talent. It was just himself and
134.
Gary Anderson at one point. They've now got Adam Hunt, who has had a great season so far. Chris Dobie, his reputation
59.
precedes him. They've got Chris Quantock now, and Ian White. That is a plethora, a cacophony of darting talent.
Plenty of talent on show here from Michael Smith. He needs to find a break, and he's going the right way about it. 87 away with Van Gerwen on 300 now.
45. Michael, you require
That's a perfect
87.
reply, really, to what's gone on before. He just needs to have more legs like this, really. Double top.
67.
There was a slight lurch with that one. He's just trying to rescue it at the end, try and pull it into the tops. Didn't quite have enough juice on it.
Plenty of juice on that.
Michael, you require
Van Gerwen
20.
moves into the slipstream of Michael Smith, and Michael Smith has a lot riding on this now. That's pitched in awkwardly as well, but he finds one right in the bottom of the double 10 bed, and Smith does break back.
Leg, Michael Smith, 2
2 breaks apiece, we're back on throw.
That was such a good dart, Rob, because he was slightly skewed from the middle to the top because the flight flicked over, and he only had maybe a third of the bed to aim at.
140.
Some cries of Mikey in the crowd.
100.
Definitely got some MVG fans here, lots of green shirts. And the hardest job, really, is Hugh Ware.
95.
He's having to call this very hot, very fast, very brilliant match.
Yeah, he's staying on his mettle once again. It's been an excellent debut on the European circuit for Hugh Ware as well this weekend.
He's got to get a nickname, hasn't he, Hugh Ware? Because the other guys, when they're introduced by Elmore, they've got the puppy George Noble.
Well, it's Hugh What, Why, Where.
Hugh What, When, Which, Where. What will Hugh wear? Black on black.
97.
Of course, the referee's got a uniform. Uniform for the dart players is 3 darts in hand and a fancy-looking shirt and a pair of black shoes. Well, trainers in Michael van Gerwen's instance.
96. Michael, you require 111.
Yeah, Van Gerwen's third dart average is significantly lower than his first dart average at the moment.
87. Michael, you require 150.
Well, pressure's on this 150 now. If he doesn't take this and won't take this, it's looking like 3-3.
It could well be 3-3.
Game
Michael,
on.
you require 24.
So 12s for Michael Smith to level things up once again at 3 apiece. Double 6, double 3 then, the ash down.
21.
Oh, what a gift this could be for Michael van Gerwen. What a gift this could be. Anguish for the fans of Michael Smith in the crowd.
He knows the importance of this. He really does.
Just taking a moment for double 18, and that's the reason why he just steadied himself there. May just have lurched slightly as he was sizing that one up, and he just took a moment, and it paid off 4-2. Another break. 3 breaks to 2 here.
Michael van Gerwen did not expect to get a shot at that.
60.
Just, well, Michael Smith will be wishing to some extent that he could have preserved some of his finishing from the Joe Cullen match
100.
for this semi-final here, because in the first 5 legs of that he was right on the radar. He was deadly.
140.
And there's a danger here that this one could just slip away from Michael Smith. He's already broken back straight away once. Whether he can do it again,
85.
you know, it's a tall order as we get closer towards the finishing line.
It's a hard enough task it is that you don't want to be putting more pressure on yourself, having to break again. And Michael Smith has really done that by missing those shots from 24 in the last leg. He won't be happy with himself, but he knows he's got to reset himself and just keep going. He's going the Gary
61.
Anderson route there, the 57 first on 161. Everybody else usually goes 60 first. But what pressure is he going to be under?
Michael, you require
It's a battle of the 2 darters, Rob.
Yes, it is. I suspect Van Gerwen, in the mood he's in now, well, is he going to go tops? He has to, really. And he's not got it.
Michael, you
Fancy
require
Van Gerwen
80.
there.
This has got to go of paramount importance, this 80.
60.
The doubles just aren't happening for Michael Smith, are they now? They seem to have dried up from the
Game from
well.
the 7th leg. Michael van Gerwen.
And Michael van Gerwen
Michael Smith to throw first. Game
leads
on.
by 3. After 3 successive breaks, we have an all-important hold by Michael van Gerwen.
83.
And Mensur Suljovic in the practice room will be watching this on the big screen, and he'll know that there's every likelihood that he'll be facing the green machine in the final.
140.
He has faced Michael van Gerwen in the European final before.
Yeah.
In
134.
And he faced him in the European Championship final itself last year as well, and he got absolutely smoked in that one.
134.
And Van Gerwen is just charging now.
Yep, he was like a Kansas City brisket. He was smoked,
140.
but very quickly, not very slowly. And that's what Michael van Gerwen does when he gets the opportunity. That European Championship, he's made it his own the last few years.
93. Michael, you require 144.
Well, Smith needs to win 4 on the spin. He's going the right way about winning this one. 144 is taken out. That's more like it. He'll be asking why couldn't I do that earlier on.
It was a beautiful finish for 2 reasons. One, great use of the treble 20, just like that.
180.
But on the double 12, he didn't lean too much. He stayed upright. And he's back in there.
Oh, here we go. This could be a showpiece leg. There we see the landmark. And there we see 6 perfect darts for Michael van Gerwen. Will he wrap it up with the big one? It could well be. Michael Smith will not be on a 9-dart leg, but Michael van Gerwen is. And could we see the Holy Grail found here? Of course we can't. It's the European Tour. It just does not happen in Germany. It doesn't happen.
Now, Ross Smith tweeted me today after I put out The Ross Smith curse.
135.
Quota,
Michael, you
and
require 58.
he said you've got to go the 45 route instead of the double 12s.
Tops for the match and a place in the final. Double 10 takes it out. Michael van Gerwen remains on course for his 16th European Tour title. He is in business once again. Michael Smith, a winner in Gibraltar last time, hits the buffers in the semi-finals. Van Gerwen shakes hands with the crew, and now he can go off stage and get ready for another showdown with Mensur. That is on the way for you. We'll have a little bit of a breather here in Hamburg. I suspect, and I emphasise suspect, that the resumption of play will be in about 15 minutes' time, at around about 10 o'clock local time. Michael van Gerwen bids farewell for now. We will see more of him in due course. Suljovic and van Gerwen for the European Darts Match Play of 2017 coming up a little later.
7:3 zugunsten von Michael van Gerwen. Der letzte Sieg von Mensur, den gab es auch für